allow me to introduce our guest today. His name is Jackson Koitumet Mpario. In this room is the one person that I've known the longest. I've known him since 1987, and we're in school together, high school, then also went to same university. And Jackson is Executive Director of Olesukut Conservancy, which is a conservancy that is based in Transmara. And the reason he's here is because the conservancy with the Rotary Club of Pomona in California, and us are working on doing a joint project. And the project is called One Health. And that's it. So it's going to take us through that particular process. So again, let's all help me in appreciating and welcoming my friend and guest.
Mr. President, thank you for the honor of being with you. As Chamonge says, we knew each other when we were very young people, and we have kept in touch since 1987. I think that goes to say a lot that we have tried to be a family, because actually the school where we were made us a family. Some of us had to walk for 3 days to come to the school, and we realized we were not the only one who had that disadvantage. We had prepared a PowerPoint presentation with one of my colleagues. Unfortunately, I think he miscalculated the jam on coming to Rongai, so I think he's still on the way. He might be able to come here by 9. As he has introduced, my name is Jackson Mpario. I'm the Executive Director of Olesukut Conservancy. It's one of the 16 community conservancies surrounding the Masai Mara Game Reserve. So for those ones who know Narok, the Masai Mara, there is a belt that we normally say it is the dispersal area, that the Masai Mara cannot be what it is without that. And it is community owned. It was formerly group ranches, but because of the Kenyan spirit of everybody wanted to own a title deed, we ended up subdividing it to even units that are actually uneconomical, because they are savanna, you cannot do agriculture, and basically you can't do ranching, extensive livestock rearing. It became a problem. So in around 1998, 99, the new concept of conservation came in, that we need to secure this area and keep it intact. But now we have already subdivided it. So how best can you do that? And everybody wants to do everything. So the Kenyan government, through a support of World Bank and the European Union, came up with a concept which they were calling COBRA, Conservation of Biodiverse Resource Areas, which basically looked at, regardless of the land ownership, they put some money in it so that it can be able to secure. We were formerly part of what was called Kimindet Group Ranch on the northern side of the Masai Mara. But unfortunately for us, there was very little activity that you can do there. So in 2006, I had worked for a couple of years with German Technical Corporation in natural resource management, and I was based in that area. So we realized there was a lot of natural resources, very big forest, very big grasslands, a lot of wildlife. But as we were now going to individual land holding, everybody was coming in to clear the forest. You need to do agriculture, you need to keep grazing, and there was a lot of forest destruction. To an extent now, if it had gone on unchecked, the way we know Masai Mara and the good pictures in National Geographic and everything would not have been there. So we came up together and said we need to pull together our individual parcels of land. So Olesukut Conservancy comprises of 23,000 acres, comprising of 51 individually owned parcels of land. So actually the land holdings are pretty big, on average around 500 acres per individual. the others with 3,000 plus. And incidentally, actually, those lands were not being used because there is a high incidence of tsetse fly. There's a lot of incident of tick-borne diseases. So the pastoralist Maasais were running away from their parcels of land. Unfortunately, again, there was very little infrastructure in it because nobody was living there. So by the time in 2006, around there was all this speculation for land buying. And we realized if we are not very careful, and again, allow me to say this, I was, within our community, I was the first to go to university. Wow. And I went back there and worked with the German program, which was Transnational Development Program. I did so well, so that by the time the program was ending in 2004, they wanted to remove me from and employ me elsewhere. I had actually went to Lamu for 2 years, and from Lamu they wanted to take me to Liberia. But again, I said, whatever I'm going to do in Liberia was the same thing I could do here. So I chose to remain behind, and in 2006 we formed the Conservancy. It was not easy because it was a new concept, and we were telling the people, you can put our land together and you can be able to do meaningful work. So between 2006 and 2010, it was the formative stages. Interestingly, Kenya, or the Kenyan conservation legal regime, was going through changes, which finally culminated in the new Wildlife Act of 2013. The Act now recognizes that any individual can manage, can conserve, and benefit from wildlife. There before it was a government affair. You do nothing with the wildlife, you touch nothing, you get nothing, everything was going to the government. So basically when the law came into being, we were now forming ourselves, and we had already formed, and before the new constitution, what was there was the county council. The Masai Mara Game Reserve is run and managed by the county council. Then they were actually benefiting everything, you know, the finance and everything. Supposedly, the council is supposed to be for the people, but when we took the idea to them, unfortunately, they did not see us as people who are contributing to conservation, but they looked at there are people who are going to chop off the income that was coming. So they actually became against the community that was doing that. I think luckily we persevered, and the council was completely against it. And in 2010, we actually almost gave up. We were spending a lot of money. Each of the members, the 51 individual landowners, were contributing to try and run the program. Each of our members actually, out of the 51, right now I think each of us has contributed close to $1 million towards the program. So we have a membership of 51 the land parcels, but in terms of members, we have a membership of 109 families. Sorry for the ladies, we always count the men, unfortunately. Out of that 109, we have only 2 members who are of the female gender. Simple reason, because they are not landowners. The 2 actually are widows, and we realized because the husband was a very key member, instead of maintaining the name of the husband, we actually put the name of the lady. We have in total, now when we come to One Health, we are looking at the people. We changed the concept from concentrating on the wildlife, which was our original idea. We said, why can't we concentrate on the people? Our members need to do everything to drive their livelihood, maintain the ecosystem, and also pay for services and pay for their livelihood. So we looked at the people and what are the resources around them. So we have the wildlife. We are looking wildlife as a resource that must contribute to the betterment of the livelihood of the people. And then we have livestock. Again, our community are not materially poor. I always like using that. We are not materially poor because out of the membership of 109, we have about 13,000 heads of cattle. We have about 9,000 plus goats. We have about 22,000 sheep. And we have about 1,300 dogs. And 250 donkeys. So when you, this is a very big resource. So what we are looking for is actually partnership to use the expertise that we don't have so that we can use this resource properly. And the One Health is coming because most of our livestock are suffering from diseases because of the wildlife. Can we partner with veterinary services? Can we partner with livestock production officers because we don't do agriculture? Can we partner with environmentalists? Can we partner with universities so that we can drive our development agenda through science, research, innovations, and everything? So we came to the Rotary Club of Rongai through my friend Chamonges because last year we partnered with the Western University of Health Sciences based in California to do the One Health program, looking at the diseases that are prevalent with wildlife, livestock, which are actually transmitted to human beings. We look at the environmental health because through that interface, the environment also plays a part. And we want to look at collectively this and create a program that will address zoonotic diseases, livestock diseases, and at the end of the day also address the same disease profile within human beings. We have done quite a lot in terms of vaccinations. I know I was told Dr. I was informed today that we are doing a lot of ECF vaccination, anthrax, LSD, FMD, all this disease profile we want to do vaccination. Through the Western University of Health Sciences, we have our partner there approached Rotary Club of Pomona, and they actually agreed that this is something that we can go in together. But I understand because of the way Rotary clubs, we require to have a local Rotary club which you can go to work on this. Today I had a meeting with some other service providers who provide a lot of these drugs and vaccinations, and I think we have agreed that depending on the outcome of our presentation today in the meeting, then we can be able to go further and process this partnership. I think the last thing I want to say is all this program is actually being driven by our vision as a community. Other than just being the executive director, I'm also a landowner. I'm a son of that place, and I'm actually the first test person on anything we want to do. If it is about vaccination, it is my heart that we will start with. If it is about deworming dogs, it is my dogs that will be dewormed first. Everything about it. We actually had to put our heart onto the platform because our Maasai, for those who have interacted with the Maasai, they always like to see things that you go convincing somebody of something you have already done yourself. So long as you are doing it and there's a result on that, a lot of them will do. And maybe lastly, Madam President, I know I've taken a bit of time, is our members are actually ready to contribute both in kind and financially to any cost that comes to bettering their life. And I think we are able to share what we have prepared. We have about, right now we have about another 10 or 11 institutions which we are collaborating. Calro, University of Nairobi, Yale University, all this already into this. And we thought, because of that requirement, we come to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for sharing that proposal with us. So we'll welcome the full project proposal.
Yeah.
Then we'll table it to the board and the members, and we can take it forward.
Is it already in written form? Has it?
Yeah.
The proposal has it been developed?
Yeah.
Developed. Right?
Yeah. It's pretty developed.
Share with the club.
Then we can share it to the members. So at this point, let me invite our